Cape Flat Stories live with me, and I've got a guest with me. I'll introduce you now. But I just want to talk about the week that was. So, there is development taking place in the story of Trump. We're all following the Trump story. I don't know about you. So Cyril and his brother, including John Steenhuisen, went over to the USA, and they will meet with Donald Trump tomorrow. So it's going to be interesting to hear what is the discussion going to be there. I believe it's going to be on why the people have fled South Africa and genocide and that. And then also, sorry, Go. Ik is sick for that. I apologize. So, also, a local chef from Strandfontein was actually hired by Gordon Ramsay, and that is big news. That is huge. And so it just shows us that on the Cape Flats we have talent. And the other thing is this, last week a story happened where a girl went missing in an overpark, and she was found. But we're going to tap more into the story just now. So without any further ado, in the studio with me, I have Veranique. Good evening, Veranique. Welcome to Cape Flat Stories.
Good evening. Goeienaand, mense.
Vertel vir ons 'n bietjie meer van jouself, Veranique. Wie is Veranique en die Benji Foundation?
Veranique, waar Benji vandaan kom. Benji is my married surname.
Okay.
I was married, so my surname was Benjamin. And when I was in the police, everyone called me Benny. Benny, first Benny. And when I went over from Strandfontein to Mitchell's Plain Police Station, they started to call me Benji because my ex-husband, they call Benny, and for me Benji. So that is where the name comes, Benji. Okay. Veranique, she is a people's person.
Okay.
She loves kids a lot. She will open a door to anyone that is in need. She will give a loss. Yeah. I don't like to talk about myself, but that is me. And I like to go the extra mile, especially when it is a minor or when it is a senior citizen.
Thank you. I've been following you guys for years now. You guys have been busy for years, sending out flyers. A lot of our children on the Cape Flats are going missing. But you, aside from sending out flyers, you also go and do your searches. Tell us more about searching for these people. I mean, there's young people, there's old people, it's everywhere on the Cape Flats. How do you guys do this with the little bit of resources that you actually have?
Okay. Our organization's name is Faith and Hope Missing Person. It's an NPO organization and falls under Section 21.
Yeah.
Faith and Hope Missing Persons is not funded. We are a group of unemployed people and a few that is working. So we comes together when there is a missing person. Then we will always scratch in our pockets a little bit for fuel money, and then we will go out because the members on my team, I can tell you, they're very dedicated. And when there is a missing person and I call on them, they will go out. No one hesitates to say no, they don't have. No. We will go the extra mile to go and ask a neighbor if we can borrow money just to go on the ground and go search for a missing person. So when a child or a person goes missing, the first thing is when the parent or the loved one realize that the person is missing. They need to go to the nearest police station with a recent photo to open up a missing person report. The police officer will take the docket, they will inform the station, they will inform the CPF, and then they will inform the NPO organization. If it is a minor, they will inform FCS. Okay. The moment they inform me, then I'll make a flyer, and then I will mobilize my members to go out on the ground. And especially when it's a minor between 0 and 13 years old. We don't hesitate. I will tell my team, listen, in 15 minutes you need to be done because this is a child, is a minor. Yes. We need, because the first hour of a minor, it is already crucial. Yes. Even when it's a senior, nowadays we get the senior that have Alzheimer and dementia. So we also need to go out to look for them because when they're out there, they don't know where they are walking or what danger they go into. So that is what we do.
You said you were also in the police force.
I was in the police.
And tell me, how long were you in the police? Because I mean, now I see the ladies actually sending out the flyers, also have the background, which now actually makes sense why you guys are having such a success rate and why you're so on. Let's open, man. But tell us about your journey in the police force.
Since 1998, I started at Mitchell's Plain Police Station.
Okay.
And I started to work on the ground as a reservist at Mitchell's Plain Police Station. And then we had a joint operation center. You go to do your modules, and then from there, I went to Stramontein Police Station. I worked for Stramontein quite some time. Al my ondervinding wat ek het, kom uit die polisie uit. En daar kom by 'n vermiste persoon. En ek truly follow ek protocol van SAPS. And also the standing operation procedure. Dus hoekom whenever daar kind vermis is, dan sal ek altyd eers hulle protocol follow voordat ek enigiets anders doen. Remember when a child goes missing, and jy follow nie die protocol, then can also interfere or tamper with the evidence of that child, and that is very dangerous. So my journey as a police officer was good. And I miss it sometimes, but I'm still on the ground fighting crime prevention as a blank, working hand in hand with the reservists and with Brigadier Miller of Mitchell's Plain Police Station. So I was unlawfully dismissed 2019. I was pregnant that time, and I'm still fighting to go back to the police. Because my cry out there is for my community, the safety of our children, because our children is our new generation.
Some people say you must wait 24 hours, 48 hours. That is the myth that is out there, especially when a child was like missing, or a person that normally don't go out. What would you say? Because some people will say, okay, I can't go and actually get a case number. So on Cape Stories, I get a lot of people sending me messages. My brother was last seen going to work, or my wife, or my sister. And then I would tell them to open a case. And the response would be, but I need to wait 24 hours. Is that a myth, or is that protocol?
No, that is not protocol. There is no waiting period in a missing person. I think it stopped now a few years ago. There was a time when you say 24 hours, but it stopped. I think due to the rising of all the missing persons we're getting every day, there's a lot of people, children that is going missing, or persons that is going missing. So that stopped. So there is no waiting period in a missing person anymore.
Last week, this young lady went missing. And so, but before we get to that, to a story, many stories in the last few years, like the Tasnei, the Michaela, and many others, were all perpetrators of previous convicted crimes that were released. And the problem that we have is this: these people are released back into society, and they just do the same thing over and over. Who do we blame for this, first of all? Because this is ongoing. And I'm very much sure there is somebody out there doing the same. Some of them get caught, some of them don't get caught. I mean, if you look at the stats, you would know the last few years, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, many of our girls were missing. And some of them were found and some of them weren't found. Who do we keep accountable for allowing these perpetrators out of prison?
You know, you're touching on a very sad part of story, because I've been now it's been years that I've been through with perpetrators that was in and come out. I blame the justice system and also correctional service. Really, something needs to be done, because this is getting hand out now. TThis van Wyks, perpetrator, had 32 cases. They let him come out.
32 cases?
Yes, they let him come out. So the same with David Coughlin, he had 33 cases. He came out. Why? I believe if the person have one sexual offense case, he must stay inside. Especially when it's a minor. Because while you let him go out and he do the deed again over and over. And we as community also need to open our eyes, and we need to stand up for our children. This is our children. We need to walk to Parliament. We need to ask even the president to come out. I think he must also come on the ground
Yes.
and walk the walk with us when there is a child missing and see what is happening. Because sometimes we don't have the resources that we really need underground. Because there's a lot of resources that we need
Yes.
when a child goes missing, especially a minor goes missing. So then sometimes we must wait 2 days for a dog, or a day for a dog, or for the chopper must come out. We must first, they need to follow protocol, procedure-wise, 205s that they must do. No, that needs to stop. When a child goes missing in South Africa, especially South Africa, because as you can see year by year now, this is a routine that is going on now. Last year, it was Jocelyn, and then the girl of Fora in Easter. First it was she, and then it was Jocelyn. The year before, it was also children, between January and April. The same this year. It was one child. For now, it was who is next? That is my question. And for that, I'm very scared of. Because I already said to my team, please be on standby. Because we don't know who is the next victim. And I pray to God, whoever is hearing this, please stop doing this to our children. Our children didn't ask to be here. We choose to have them here. Hands off our children.
Veranique, it's actually very sad that in many cases that innocent children are getting hurt. And the effect that this have on the families afterwards. Some of these families don't get trauma. So what's happening is you took away a young little girl, but you're also leaving trauma behind. And they're not getting trauma counseling. And that goes on to the next generation. And this one incident actually destroys a whole generation. I don't think government sees what they're actually doing to our people. But last week, this young girl, I believe she went to go buy milk or something. And then this perpetrator. So, first of all, I don't want to say perpetrator. When you are an adult, and you lure young girls, minors, you are a pedophile. That's an illness I believe you can't heal. I'm sorry if you can judge me all you want. I only believe there's only one cure for a pedophile. And that is my honest opinion, God must forgive me one day. They must not be released into society. And this man had this child with this girl. Tell us what happened there.
Okay. I received a call from a community member. She phoned me, she asked me to assist. She said this girl is missing from a Nova Park. And I immediately said to her, okay, let me talk to my team. I immediately phoned my team. The deputy chairperson, Shireen, I phoned her. I explained to her that someone called me from the community that an 11-year-old girl is missing from a Nova Park. Not even 9-year-old. 9-year-old is missing from a Nova Park. And then I phoned the other members to mobilize them. Then I phoned Colonel Sols. He is the station commander of Philippi. And I explained to him what happened. I worked closely with Colonel Sols. This is not the first time incident that I worked with Colonel. And he said, no, Benji, I will get my people ready when you guys come there. I said, I send the father down to the police station to open missing person report. Then I phoned FCS, Family Violence and Crime. Also police, but they are working with minors, with rape cases, and with missing persons. I phoned Captain Pretorius, and I asked her to assist. She said she's not on duty, but she will talk to the members. Then I phoned Sergeant Abrams, he said the same. Not long after that, Captain Pretorius phoned me again. She said, no, Benji, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to assist you. The response time was very quick. Very quick. This 9-year-old girl was on her way to madrasa. She was on her way to church. Then, I don't even want to mention the name that I want to call him. The person of interest.
You can call it
and he called her to go and buy, gave her 20 rand to go buy milk. She went to go buy, with a friend, she went to go buy milk. And she said to a friend, the friend can go to madrasa. She went back to the house. And he told her she must put the milk inside. And he closed the door. And this is not fair. Asking a child to go to the shop
Yeah.
Innocent child not knowing
Yeah.
what's going to happen.
Yeah.
What went through that child's mind? How did that child feel?
Yeah.
And this is especially when it's a minor.
Yeah.
What is that child going through? How is that child feeling? The pain that she went through, no one knows. But he get a satisfaction. So justice needs to be served.
Yeah.
But justice needs to be served. Will it be served?
Yeah.
Because why? That child went through trauma,
Yeah.
went through pain.
Yeah.
Will he go through pain? The same pain? The same trauma?
Yeah.
No. Only justice. That's all. Go sit there for a few years till you come out. No.
Yeah. That's the
I
justice.
feel that they need to bring in the ankle, especially when it's our kids.
Yeah.
This is our kids, man.
The sad thing is this, that, this guy will go in and he will get good treatment in there. When he's sick, he will sit first in the queue at Grooterskeer or wherever, while our mothers and fathers are waiting for hours, days in the queue. He will be helped immediately. He will go to the dentist. All those things that our people are struggling with, he will get. So for him, it's actually better to be there. He's protected. It is away from everybody. The thing is this, I believe that these guys must be taught a lesson. And the justice system should do that. But I also feel, have you noticed, all of a sudden, all these, it's like a klomp kokorotte wat gebroei het. We have a lot of these pedophiles on the Cape Flats.
So true.
Where are they coming from? That is my question. I mean, if you hear most cases in the last 6-7 years, it's the same cases. It's pedophiles and they aren't rapists. There's a difference between a rapist, and that's also wrong. But a pedophile is like somebody that goes for young minors. And he actually grooms them, like this young girl. I don't know, did she know him?
No.
She didn't know him.
No.
Shouldn't we also teach our kids not to trust strangers, not to go to the shop for like a stranger? I mean, I was in an area the other night, in New Horizons. Ek skat, hy kan maar daar gespeel het, 9:30, kon 2, 3 oud gewees het, voor die pad in. Ek het het met my oor gesien, I see it often in Paarwood. We know it's dangerous out there. Why aren't we also taking responsibility as parents? That's the other questions. What is the things that parents should look out for? Any advice for you?
You know, some parents, they don't take responsibility for their children. Especially, like you said, in Paarwood,
Yeah.
Tafelsig,
Yes?
because there's so many times we're working at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Then the child is still walking out. 4-year-old child is walking out.
2 o'clock in the morning.
Yes. Then they're walking out in the street. And you know, social development really needs to do something about this, because why? How can you let a 4-year-old be still outside there?
Yeah.
So parents need to take extra care about their children.
Yeah.
Education starts at home. Parents need to talk to their children
Yeah.
about the safety.
Yeah.
Don't go with strangers. Don't sit on strangers' laps.
Yeah.
Don't take money from strangers. Don't, if the stranger said, I'm going to give you a love, don't take a love with the stranger. No. Immediately run to your mommy or run to your teacher or run to your granny. Wherever you stay or wherever you are. Even this is happening on schools.
Yeah.
And it's not fair. The school teachers there on school, if the child go to toilet, someone needs to stand at the toilet to watch that children is going to toilet
100%.
and that child is going back to if the child is safe.
Yeah.
But even nowadays you get in schools
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
perpetrators
Yes.
that
Yes.
is doing this deed.
You are right.
You see?
You are right.
Now what they must do, even my members, all my members are vetted
Yeah.
because they're all part of safety groups.
Yes.
So when they're on schools, especially when it's you're dealing with a child, they need to be vetted.
Yeah.
If you have a record of sexual offense, maybe abuse, even domestic violence,
Yeah.
you can't work with children.
Yes.
You
Yes.
can't work with children. How many children must still die on the Cape Flats? How many children? Lulu Amanda,
Yeah.
she was dropped in front of a school.
Yes.
She went by Eastwold Primary. The same with Lenati.
Yeah.
Lenati was also a child from Delft. She's still missing. There's these children that is still missing. And you know what? You were talking about the kokarota.
Yeah.
So you know what is happening?
Yeah.
You see the one kokarot come out.
Yes.
No?
Yeah.
And the one kokarot is only getting 5 years. So I'm going to do also this.
That's right.
I'm gonna get 10 years or 2 years.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
I'm also gonna
Yeah.
get out.
Yeah. And I think back in the day when, yes, the death penalty was used wrong back in the day because it was used for people of color. However, for now, we need to look at the death penalty for crimes like this. Crimes that is actually hurting children. You spoke about the schools. I know of incidents where children are going to schools with knives to protect themselves. And they get suspended. And the moment you confront the teachers, they tell you, but there's nothing happening at the school. I also feel that on the Cape Flats, because also now we have this problem. The youngster sees at high school or primary school what the father or uncle is doing, and he repeats it at school. I mean, you obviously had cases where young people were doing this to other young people.
Yes.
It's a problem that we have, and we're not really looking deeper into the matter. It's things that we need to, it's behavior issues that is carried over the years. The other question I want to ask you, with the lack of resources, I mean, you have some detectives having 300 cases on the desk a month. How are we going to get, I mean, if, let's say from the 300 cases, you have 200 missing children. You have to kick out, obviously, some of those cases or let it stay over for the next month. How are we going to find out our missing kids if we have every year, every month, 300 new cases on our desk as detectives?
You know, I've been complaining this when Minister Becky Taylor was still minister. I said to him, one detective got a lot of dockets that he must deal with. Now you still give him the missing person docket. He must, and missing person is a priority.
Yes.
Your first priority. So he's not going to look into that cases. Or sometimes they don't look into the missing persons cases. Then they first do their cases. So my plea out there, this is to the Minister of Police, that he needs to open his own missing person unit with their own resources. They must just focus on missing persons and trafficking. Because while you can't send it to the station, the station will do a preliminary check. Yes, that is fine. But after that, who's going the extra mile? The NPOs.
Yes.
They are going the extra mile in finding a missing person. And I will tell you, out of 100%, 95% we have successes in finding a missing person. Whether the child is a runaway or a missing person. Because why you get a missing person and you get a runaway.
Talking about the runaway, things are not good at home. So that's also another fact that comes back to us as well, as parents, as aunties and uncles and grandmothers. Things are not good at home. We don't create safe spaces for our children. Now the kid is running away. That kid is running away and they're running into trouble. Now they're meeting the wrong crowd, the wrong people. And now we have a case either where they are drugged and they're being raped or victimized or whatever. How do we address it? Because I see many people, I mean, I know of kids. The father will turn out of the house, 11 o'clock in the night. Then that kid have to sleep outside or sit outside. How can you be a responsible parent if you don't want children and don't have children? Kids are going missing because you know what's happening is that they're looking for a better place. How do we tell these parents it is dangerous to do things like that in this day and age? You
know, today's parents is not like the old parents like we used to have. It's like new generation parents. Let me quickly tell you about the parents. We have the family in the house. Then we have the single mother. Then she meets her for khaki.
Yes.
And that is where a child is unhappy.
Yes.
Because khaki gets more attention than what the child is getting.
Yes.
And then the child goes, Mommy, buy me this, I want this. Mommy said, I don't have money. But tomorrow she buys for khaki. The same with the father. The father don't have time for his child. But he has time for the sugar mommy. Because he needs to entertain. Our children needs love. And our children needs attention. And this is what's happening in houses. I always say, a child that is happy won't run away. A child that is not happy will always run away because why? There's a lot of things that is interfere.
Yes.
Like single parents. There's a lot of single parents on the Cape
Yes.
Flats.
Yes.
And this is what's happening. And even that single mother is getting a bank 10 because why? She
Yes.
needs to entertain the bank
Yes,
10.
yes.
But she don't know. If she goes to work, that bank 10 is looking after the daughter there.
Yes. Yes.
But the daughter can't talk
Yeah.
because she must keep her mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So how many on the Cape Flats
Yes.
do we have like this?
Yes.
That is not, they're not talking.
Yes.
You see?
That's the other thing, and that is something very important that you're mentioning. The mother is meeting this guy, but she don't know who this guy is. He moves in the house, and like you said, he don't work. She goes to work every day. That child is alone there. I mean, look at the Jocelyn case. She was at work, and the guy was Buddha was looking after the kids. That's not only the only story. There's many of those stories out there. How do you tell these women and men, parents, it's important for you to look after the safety of your kids, because you know what? You're traumatizing that child. And many years later, some of that children become also perpetrators because of what has been done to them. They do it to others.
And you know, sometimes we are staying in a window house.
Yeah.
Then we 3-4 children staying in a window house. Mommy and daddy staying in the same room.
Yeah.
Mommy and daddy mustn't do things
Yes.
that children mustn't see.
Yes.
So die kinders gaan daar buite dat doen hulle self
Exactly.
you see.
Yes.
En hy is verkeerd.
Yeah.
But we as Faith and Hope Missing Persons, we have awareness on
Okay.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Not every day. Not every night, because why? We have a lot of things to do.
Yeah, yeah.
So we will go once a month on TikTok just to give awareness to the parents. Maar ek gaan sê, die Cape Flats parents wil nie worry.
Ja.
Because why is te lekker daar buite om hulle dinge te doen.
Yes.
Maar hulle weet nie die gevaar en ons kinders se safety nie.
Yes.
Ons kinders se safety is veel meer important as wat hulle doen daar buite. En hulle moet besef, hy's 'n kind, hy's 'n groot mens, maar van ons kinders maak hulle groot mense.
100%.
Ons kinders moet groot mense is. En hy's verkeerd.
En ze praten zo, TikTok is een duivel.
Yes.
Onze jong meisjes, zij denken die kind is 20, 30 jaar oud. Die kind 12, 13 jaar oud. I'm not saying you can't use TikTok, but I think also parents need to monitor. Wat doen mijn kind op TikTok? Wat doen mijn kind op social media? En die ding is dat, zoals ik zeg, parents is asan. Zoals ze zeggen is, niet allemaal niet, maar daar is van hulle, ga nou je bezig gaan zo. Ik heb nou mijn benten, ik heb nog van gakkie zo, let me be busy with the gakkie, and I'll come back to you later on. Over many years, that child grows up without mother supervision or father supervision. And I think we don't understand that how serious it is for us to be a parent. That's one of the biggest issues why you have children going missing. Like you mentioned, 2 o'clock in the morning, you have children 4 years old walking around other Cape Flats. The other thing is this, I don't know if you noticed this, if the cops comes into our community, that kids actually stones the vans and trucks. We have that issue as well. Don't respect our community or don't respect SEPs. And then we have the same story, SEPs is corrupt.
Maar ek dink hulle respek die man in blou by nou al.
Yeah.
Because hy is oor en oor gewees. Die ander ding wat dangerous in 'n kind se lewe is 'n phone.
Yes.
A phone is a good thing and it's also a bad thing. Parents need to look on their children's phone. Because why ek gaan sê ek is 19 jaar oud, as ek 13 jaar oud.
Yes.
Dan meet ek 'n ouetjie wat 30 jaar oud is, dan gaan ek by Promenade of wherever in die mall in en dan gaan meet ek vir hom daar. En daai sou ons kinders weggeraak en daai sou trafficking begin.
Yeah.
So parents moet altyd check op hulle kinders, want many times het ons 'n vermiste persoon. Dan ken die parent nie wie die kind se vriend is nie. She don't know the phone number of a child. She don't even know a child have a phone. She don't even know Facebook. A child is on Facebook. Nothing.
Yeah.
So parents need to know who the child friends is, and they also need to interact with with their children and also the friends, and also know in what environment our children is playing. And please, they need to know what the children's phone number is, Facebook account, email account, all that accounts. Because why? The children is hiding this, and this is how they are doing all their goedetjes on social media.
So, I think you guys were part of this last year. It was more or less the time when Jocelyn went missing. A girl from Port Elizabeth, she and a friend took the Uber or the taxi from there to Cape Town. So the father contacted me, and I actually gave the details to a sniper, and a sniper said it when you guys saw, but I know you guys do a lot of cases. These girls ended up, the guy told them that he's living in Berkfleet. And when they got there, or when the father found out, luckily the father saw that the daughter met this guy on Instagram. And he actually went on the chats. And he actually saw, but she's on her way to Berkfleet. Luckily, he obviously had his hand on the social media platforms. Within I think about half a day, we managed to track her. I believe and the guy wasn't living there. It was some guy telling her, baiting her, that he's going to be there. But I think he actually told her to bring money with, and she brought money with. And I think that is the story of many of our people, many of our children, even Cape Town, in other areas a bit as well. We need to be careful. This is quite big, giving your child a cell phone at school. I don't know if you saw this new trend. You're just sending pictures around of one another. There's even groups where they share it on. So there was not groups, they start channels. You can go into the channel. I said, I'm 13 years old, this is my cell phone. I was so shocked the other day. And then I had to give it obviously to the people to investigate. And the youngsters don't know. I mean, we were also young. We also had girlfriends when we were young. But we behaved ourselves. We knew where to draw the line. Now with social media, you have a bigger issue. You have social media that, you can meet anybody anywhere in the world just by a click or button. And I think that is the issue, is that parents should have their children's phones monitored. Because it goes much deeper than just giving them a phone.
But you know what, even that monitoring the phone and that, mummies en daddies moet ook al die kinders die skitkans.
Ja.
Hulle moet gaan in die phone en gaan kyk wat reg aangaan. Because why? Hulle kyk dit hy nie. Sunny kom hy, so dan gaan Sunny sê, mami, ek wil vir mami gou iets sê. Dan sê mami, ek het nie tyd nie. Yes.
Thank you.
Because she's tired, she works, she needs to cook, she needs to clean when she come home. Sy moet allemaal die goedes doen. But she must make time for that child. Because net die wat die kind wil sê is miskien important. Ek wil miskien sê, Janet aan my gevat. Maar mami gaan nie luister nie. Hoe voel die kind? Disappointed, sy loop weg. Mami wil nie luister wat ek sê nie, want toe gaan ek. Morgen gebeur iets anders met haar, wat sy miskien seer kry in die proses in. Kan ek iemand mami praat, ek kan nie van mami sê nie, because why? Ons moet begin luister wat hulle kinders wil sê. Even if you only take 5 minutes to sit still and talk to your child. Sit still and talk to your child and listen to what your child say.
The other thing is this that you mentioned, people who worry. Sometimes the perpetrator is an uncle or cousin or somebody close. En nou sê die kind van mami het gehoor, maar die kind kan nie pak, jy moet, because it is a scanner. If it comes out, it's my brother, it's my father, it's my uncle. I think that we need to be very stern. When anybody touches our kids, irrespective of the relationship, if it's my brother, my sister, my uncle, we need to take it to the law. But is there a conviction rate? Are we seeing a good conviction rate? That's the other thing.
You know, I think we had a case, or we had a lot of cases similar to that. The perpetrator is always someone you know. Either a neighbor, or your father, grandfather, uncle, or auntie. Remember, there was this case where this child went to a mother and say, Mommy, this uncle told me that I must lick his private part. Mommy didn't listen. A month after that, this child went missing. Who was the perpetrator? It was the uncle. But mommy didn't listen. And the uncle wasn't the first suspect in the mommy's eyes. Only after weeks, I think, we found out it was the perpetrator.
And nothing was done?
Nothing. No, he's in jail. He's in jail now.
But no, that is the question. When these guys come out, many of the family members, mommy's brother, they move back into the family house. I've seen this many times. You know, one of the things that I saw was when, and we have to talk about this these days because it's real. A father raped 5 of his own children, his own 5 children. He raped 5 of his 5 children, and then the mother knew about it. And only later on, after years, the pastor at the church said, okay, but you need to go now and give yourself up. Moral of the story is the children went for counseling, but before they went for counseling, the grandfather took these kids to go visit the father in prison. I mean, doesn't that just boggle your mind? Because hoe kan sy die man die kinders vat om hulle pa te gaan groet, waar hulle pa die man is? I mean, die vir my sê ek die pa so keer die kop nie. And this is the thing with family. Because remember, these people come back into the community, they live in the house, and some of them actually own part of the house, so you can't really throw them out.
But we had a case where the mother was raped by her own child.
Ja,
Hoe doen jy die?
jou eie kind.
Hoe doen jy die? Jou eie kind doen dit aan die ouer. Of jou sussie se kind doen dit aan haar suster.
Ja.
Hoe kry jy dit reg? You know what I always say, there's a lot of, what do you call it, street hawkers.
Yeah.
Take one of the street hawkers
Yeah, yeah.
and leave the children.
Yeah.
Because the children don't need us.
Yeah.
You can do it with the street hawkers. They won't be traumatized.
Yeah, yeah.
But the children will be traumatized.
Especially if it's your own family. If it's the auntie you're supposed to trust.
En hulle gaan altyd sê, auntie gaan sê, nie is my kind nie.
Ja.
Of is my man nie.
Ja.
Jy lieg.
Ja, ja,
Kan auntie ook nie dankie.
ja. And dit klink so far-fetched, but this is the reality. This is what's happening in our communities. I heard of a pastor. He actually he went to prison last year. Sorry to say this, but I'm going to say it. The man preek, what you have? They caught him, if they found him guilty. And the moment you actually took him on, jy vat him aan, sê die familie nou, but die Here het hom vergewe. Yeah, okay, God forgave him, but he still needs to go do his sentence. But that's the other thing is that we use religion. Die Here het hom vergewe, die Here het haar vergewe. So what can we do? No. Hy kan getraumatize. Just like any other criminal offense, he need to pay.
Yes.
We are justifying, and in our community, the Cape Flats, we are starting to justify these sins and these crimes. And that is why it's getting out of control. And at the end of the dag, blame us the government.
Dis al. En dis hoekom ek sê die community moet opstaan, because why? As gebeur in ons community
Yes.
in. So we as community, as ek sien my broer doen iets verkeerd, moet ek praat, maar nie ons praat nie.
No.
Because ons stiek dit weg, dan môre gebeur dit aan en is groei en is groei. En so gaan dit oor na die next generation toe, na die next kind toe. So ons moet begin praat en sê, my broer het aan Titi gevat.
Yes.
Of my broer het sy piepie in die en sy koekien gedruk.
Ja.
Maar die word mos nou nie gesê
Ja,
nie,
ja.
because as moet toegevier word, because it's family.
Ja.
En hy's verkeerd.
Yeah. And we want to talk nice about these things. These things are eating our communities up. It eat those communities up. And this is happening every day. There's cases where the uncle, hy wag vir hom te gaan werk, so he can abuse the child. I guarantee you, there's a child tomorrow on the Cape Flats. It will go through trauma, or even now through trauma because of the uncle. I mean, sometimes we rent out our premises, and we don't vet these people. So what happens, this die ou kan betaal, is fine, you can pay every month 5,000 or 4,000 rand, you can come and live here by us. Nou deel die man 'n kamer in ons huis in, because ons het nie geld nou nie, so nou verkragt die man een van ons kinders. It's fine, just give me everybody extra. We're actually selling our kids also to these prisoners.
Yes,
That is what's happening. And these people don't understand that. They think it's far-fetched. It's not far-fetched, it's the reality.
And we had cases like that. We had a 4-year girl, I think, of Tafelsig. We had a 4-year-old girl last year. She went missing. They phoned me. I immediately mobilized my emos.
Yeah.
We went out. You know, the devil is a liar.
Yes.
And as we were on our way to the police station, someone called us and said, die kind is gekry.
Yeah.
En net so gaan 'n verligting af by my, die kind is gekry. Because she's a baby.
Yeah.
Okay, ek dink die kind is gekry. Ek sê, kom ons ry terug huis toe, dink ek. Nee, ons gaan polisiestasie toe, dink ek. Nee, ons gaan na huis toe. Ons het na die huis toe gegaan. And you know, when we got there at home, this child was traumatized. She was crying.
Yeah.
And I knew something was wrong. And then the captain said, come, we can go now, because I said, no, captain. Something is wrong here.
Yeah.
If the child is crying, hysterical like this, something is happening.
Yeah.
And then me and my colleague, we went in. I said, come we go talk in the house. Who got this child? I wanted to know who got this child.
Yeah.
Mommy was by die polistasie.
Yeah.
Mommy was by my saak op te gemaak.
Ja.
Nee? Die kind is missing. Op die huis is dit die baksteenhuis.
Ja.
Then the Winnie houses. I think there is 4 Winnie houses on that premises. So, ek wil weet die kind gekry, Oma het die kind gekry. Oma het 'n warehouse aan die kind, maar die voordeel is die kind. So waar Oma se kan Oma alles sien wie in en uitkom. Ek sê, Oma, hoe het Oma die kind gekry? No, I stand up and then I pass the front door.
Yeah.
But by the front door, few steps away is the gate.
Yeah.
So by the gate was neighborhood watch members and my missing person people
Yeah.
from my Mitchell's Plain side was in front of the gate.
Yeah.
So if the child went out or came in,
They would have seen.
yeah.
Yes, yes.
So, ma sê ek het geloop, toe staan ek op die hoek van die kant van die huis. Toe kom die persoon uit die huis uit.
Ja.
En die persoon vra nou vir ma, wat soek nou hier? Nee, ek is besig om die kind te soek.
Ja.
Because wij ons nou geskree, almal het al
ja,
gesoek al die
ja.
kinders hier nie. En ma sê vir hom, ek gaan gewoon net kyk hier agter of die kind nie, as die ma loop agtertoe.
Ja.
Ma kom terug. Ma, hoe lank het ma gemaak? Was dit 5 minute? Was dit 3 minute? Nee, het was net 2 minute, net gauw.
Ja.
Toe het ma die kind gekry voor die hek. Nou, waar was die kind?
Ja.
Die kind was in huis.
Ja.
Meaning, that child was in that house.
Ja.
En die kind bly op die grond.
Ja.
Nou, die is as te veel mense op 'n plek
Ja.
bly.
Ja.
Hè?
Dis
Jy ken nie hulle agtergrond
Yes,
nie.
yes.
So die perpetrator is daar.
Ja, ja.
Hy sou die kind en is naby kapteinskrifstasie.
Ja.
So, hy sou die kind seer gemaak het. En hy sou die kind oorgevat en na die bos toe. Dan het ons nog 'n kind gehad.
Ja.
Wat miskien gewees het en dood gewees het.
Hoeveel kinders discover jy, hoeveel bodies het jy al gediscover in die bosse in, soos nou so geval?
Ons, you know, vir jaar kan ek sê 1 of 2 keer.
Okay.
Hy is groot mense en kinders because meeste van die vermiste persone wat missing raak, kry ons.
Okay.
Ja? En dan is dit nou wat worldwide gaan, wat kinders wat nou regtig mag vermis raak en kinders wat verkragt word en doodgemaak. Maar wanneer 'n kind doodgemaak word, hy sê ek glo en wat ek nou geleer het, is when that child knows the perpetrator.
Yes.
Either the perpetrator is a family member or a neighbor staying in the road.
Yes.
So, ons kry nie by nie, maar as dit kom op die Kaapse vlakte, dan is dit 'n skrik vir almal. Maar hoekom is dit 'n skrik vir almal is as dit nou al so hoeveel keer gebeur, as we nou al op 'n stop gesit word.
Daai storie van, ek dink is 'n retreat waar die kind deur die landlord gedraai is in 'n matte.
Is hy nie?
Dis so 'n paar jaar terug.
Michaela Williams.
Was it Michaela Williams? Was Michaela Williams in?
No, Michaela Williams was Pelican Park.
Yes.
Die Horizons, dink ek was
Ja.
ek weet van die kind wat in die mat
Yes. As 'n retreat somewhere. But also, the Michaela Williams story is very close to my home. So Michaela's mom, Mrs. Beatrice, she was a Chris teacher. And we actually saw Michaela from time to time. Nice, decent young girl at the Chris because her mom worked there. I couldn't believe it because my daughters used to play together. I couldn't believe it when we got the news. She was killed. Also from a person that was actually released because of that same crime. And he came out and he actually killed her. And they were looking for her. And then I think a few days later they actually found the body. And that is the sad thing about these guys is that they come out, they do the same. It's almost to me, government sending us a message. They will go back into the community, they will kill you. I mean, that is the thing that we can't help. They need to keep them in there, right? But we can maybe look at, we can be the better parents. That's what we can work on. But we can't keep the criminals like that, the perpetrators. We can't keep them amongst us. I mean, we also need to have a database. Who was released into the Cape Flats recently? I think if we have a database, then we can at least see, okay.
I think there is a database because why? When correctional service release someone, like the station strangler, we had meetings before the station strangler came out. So correctional service needs to inform SEPS. SEPS needs to inform the CPF.
Yeah.
The CPF needs to go out and explain to the community that this perpetrator is coming out.
Yes.
But it don't happen on the Cape Flats. You see?
Okay.
And these are the things that they need to talk with us community people,
Yes.
so that we know that, listen, as a perpetrator, ons moet waaksaam is, because enige iets kan gebeur.
Ja.
But hulle sê nie vir ons iets verkeerd is.
Yes.
Hulle moet vir ons sê, because ons het kinders wat daar in die rondte en hardloop in.
Yes.
Or take these people away, man.
Yeah.
Take them out of our country rather.
Ja.
Moet hulle nie hier in ons country nou nie.
Ja.
Because waar te veel dinge gebeur en julle allow. Ek voel dat ek het nou gesit in laas, ek het gesit en ding. As 'n perpetrator uitkom, wat het hy daar binne gemaak?
Yes.
I mean, jy, het ons allemaal die jare, het jy gesit en somme gemaak, en vir jouself gesê, wie is jou next prooi daar buiten, of hoe gaan jy dit nou doen? Maar hoekom gaan jy nou weer in? Jy het lekker gekry daar binne. So dis hoekom wil jy terug gaan. Want jy iets van niet, jou hospitaal is van niet, alles is van niet. En hy moet op 'n stop kom. As jy wat iets van niet en hospitaal van niet. Hospitaal van niet, jy wag soos ons wag. Ons wag 10 ure of 2 dae voordat ons reg gesien word. So hy kan ook 2 ure gewag word. When correctional service come with him to the hospital, hulle moet onmiddellik gesien word. Dis verkeerd. Hy moet op 'n stop gesit word. Hulle moet voel wat die mense voel, die dade wat hulle buite doen, moet hulle ook voel. Ek voel dat hulle moet getorture word.
Ek stem saam met jou. Maar nou gaan hulle sê, ja, but hulle het human rights. I mean, the end of the day, what about that child that was killed innocently? What about her human rights? What about his human rights? Do you know, many of our boys are also being raped by uncles. And they can't talk. The uncle kom in die tronk uit. The uncle was a gang member daar binne gewees. And this is the story that I heard many times, and I've seen the victims. They get no support. That's the other thing that we don't have is at schools we don't have the facilities to help these kids. The Cape schools, the schools on the Cape, not many of them, not all of them, can help these kids because now at the end of the day, daai juffrou was daar by kind te leer. She's not there to look after this child's well-being. It's a train for them. And I think that is where we need to catch these things out. But once again, we don't have the buy-in of our government.
Maar dan sê dit ook education starts at home.
Yes.
Because the parent need to talk to the child.
Yes.
Dieselfde met op skole. Jy het gesien meer die speeches hier.
No.
They don't do speeches on school anymore.
Yeah.
We need to have speeches on school and talk to our children.
Yes.
En vir hulle sê wat gaan aan, wat word gebeur.
Yeah.
Wat word gedoen agterna en wat is die konsekwensies agterna agter die goedes. Die dinge word gesê vir die kinders. Die dinge word en nou die kinders staan bos en bos met hulle ouers aan hulle. Hulle die ouer dreig hulle om die vir hulle te koop en hy vir hulle te koop, which verkeerd is.
Yes.
En as mami nie die doen nie, dan gaan mami sien, dan word mami gestraat. Klein kinders wat ons kry op die pad, feite nou missing persons doen nie net vermiste persone nie. Hulle doen police, teenage problems, doen hulle en gender-based violence. En as mense in die community assistance maak hier, vra maar vir my team. Die sniper, you will say, sniper doen ons flyers. Ons is die mense wat op die grond weet, vermiste persone.
Yes.
So, my mense, vital as daar iemand assistance soek, kan jy nie gou die polisie bel because why, of wil jy nie gou met my kind kooperaat, my kind het die verkeerd gedoen, ek kan nie vir hy handle, of ek kan nie nou weer weggaatloop. Daar soms jy kinders wat al 3-4 keer weggaatloop. En ons gaan dan toe en ons praat met die kinders. You know what is the other problem here? On the Cape Flats? Corporal punishment.
Yes.
Kinders kry mos nie pakkie. So dis hoekom dinge gebeur. Maar ek gaan sê, daar's nou hoeveel kinders al wat weghardloop, teenagers. En ek gee vir hulle pakkies, hulle kry lekker pakkies by my. Ek srat vir hulle. En daarna hardloop hulle nie weer wat hulle gee. Vra maar vir my team. Hulle kry pak.
But that was when our parents raised us. Many people said, it's corporal punishment, that is wrong. But sometimes, disciplining our kids. Die kinders discipline hulle by die pa. Moet jy vir my sê nie, man. I saw already a young man hitting his father. The man that provides for him. The other thing is this, I study my op, hey, los die kind dan. And nothing is being done. Tomorrow that father becomes the victim. Other thing you spoke about gender-based violence. It's quite big. It's one of the biggest things in the community. Because of, we don't communicate. We don't know how to talk to one another. If you go to the courts, to the family courts in Mitchell's Plain, and you sit there for a day, all the people coming in there, awesome mense. Wat kun jy na my ma, my pa, my sister, my bro? It's like we don't know how to talk to one another. That's the one thing is that is missing, is that communication is missing. And how do we How do we, because I think if we fix this, communicating with one another, and teaching one another, caring one another, we will fix many things on the campus.
As jy waar wat jy sê. As ons, maar communication is die key.
Yes.
En daai het ons nie by huise nie.
Ja.
Ons het nie daai by huise nie. Because elkeen sit met sy selfoon.
Yes.
Of papi leen kyk TV.
Ja.
Mami doen haar eie ding op die foon.
Ja.
Nou wanneer gaan ons kind educate?
Ja.
Because die kind sit ook met die foon. So ons moet communicate met ons kinders, ons moet kinders vertel. Hoe was ons gesit gewees aan die dag? Hoe het ons deur die lewe gekom aan die dag? Hoe swaar was dit? Nee, ons kinders is laks.
Ja.
Because mommy en daddy moet alles vir hulle doen nowadays. Dis hoekom kan hulle doen wat hulle doen vandag.
Ja.
Al die stroon goedetjies wat hulle aanvang.
Ja.
Dis hoekom kan hulle die dinge doen.
Ander ding is die cellphones. Almost die foto's van mekaar. I mean, die kind is 12 jaar oud, but daar's 'n vrag nudes van hulle, daar's 'n vrag video's van hulle. Other story was, I don't know if you know, I think it's in Bondeville, where the mother took pictures of her children. The old mother took pictures of her children. Also so desperate for geld, we're taking pictures of our kids and selling it on the internet. Two guys, to these sexual perpetrators. I mean, would you say that, shall to say that poverty is the reason why they do it, or are they just sick?
You know, ek gaan nie sê poverty nie. Truly.
Yeah.
Ek gaan nie sê poverty nie. Ja, ons almal kry swaar. Maar gaan was antie se vensters
Yes.
vir R30. Hy's 'n brood se geld.
Yes.
En miskien hou hy sy eie se geld.
Ja.
Of gaan was die vloer of gaan was die kar om iets te doen. Maar om dit aan jou kind te doen.
Ja.
En hy kind is 'n myne.
Ja.
Jy breek hy kind af.
Yes.
Hy kan nie meer toekoms in ander woorde nie. Because hy gaan in daai pad in loop. Vinger gaan gewys word na toe. Wie sê reg as hy ons ouers moet dink wat ons aan ons kinders doen. En dis hoekom sê is new generation ouertjies. Because why? Hulle wil net so jong soos hulle kinders is. Hulle wil jak soos die kinders jak. En hy's verkeerd.
Yeah.
Wie is die ouer?
Yes.
En laat die kind
Yes.
is.
The thing is, those parents need to be parents. So you say, I don't think also this. Teenage pregnancy also plays a role here. Because now it's a teenage pregnancy, babies wat nog kinders is, and sorry to say this, not everybody makes it out of the system. So you have a 12-year, 13-year-old that's not giving birth. By the time that person is now 26, when life is supposed to start, I say helemaal, van 'n kind van 13-year-old, sê hulle teenager, what does she know? Because she hasn't really grown up. Then you have the young man that made her pregnant, that also disappeared. I mean, it's a cycle that's repeating itself every time, and nothing is really being done. I think government should have, I think there is laws in place. If you are pregnant under the age of 16, then the system can, or the government can actually open a case against you.
Hulle kan die kind ook afvat, maar as al die pensiefamilie, as die familie die kind vat,
Ja.
dan is dit fyn. Maar ek gaan sê, ek was 16 jaar oud
Ja.
gewees. En ek was pregnant gewees, teenage pregnancy. Maar in vandag se lewe, hoe die kinders maak. En jy gaan vir hulle sê dat if you have sex,
Ja.
you need to use a condom.
Yes.
No. Vandag se kinders het seks om die man te bly hou.
Ja.
En om die sassa geld te kry.
Ja.
Maar die ouers moet vir hulle leer. Jy kan nie 'n man bly hou as jy 'n kind van 'n man het nie.
Ja.
Wie gaan hy kind support?
Ja.
Jou vrouminsdele is nog nie eens reg aan die developie.
Ja.
Wie gaan die kind onderhou? Wat doen hy? Trek sy broek op, dan loop hy weg.
Yes.
Hy is gewaard,
Ja.
wie moet kyk na die kind?
Ja.
Ouers.
Yes.
En dis hoekom ons soms ook kinders kry wat kinders wat pasgebore babatjies kry wat dood lê in die areas in.
Ja.
Ons het nou recently het ons baie van hy kinders gekry.
Ja.
So wie se kinders is dit? Of kinders dink nie hulle moet kinders maak.
Yes.
Is 'n joke.
It's a joke, yes. It is
So
normal.
ouers moet ook praat daar. Ek gaan weer sê, education starts at home.
Yes.
Communities, even churches, mosque, they need to talk to the slums school,
Yes.
hulle die Sunday school.
Ja.
Die goed is moet ook even as hulle kan praat in die Sunday school, praat daaroor.
Ja.
Because ek dink dat ons syllabus gechange het in die skole. Kyk, ons het nie dieselfde vakke wat ons het in daai jare nie. So hulle praat nie meer van jou vroumense en almal die 10, 12 dinge en wat is die voorbehoedmiddels wat jy moet gebruik en almal die. Vir kinders is dit 'n joke om nowadays te gaan vir birth control.
Yes. That's a thing that we parents should consider, because you're bringing an innocent child into this world, and that child will then suffer. But I've got a message here from someone. The lady's name is Cindy Bucas. Faith and Hope Missing Persons is doing an amazing job, and our government needs to recognize them. I agree with you, and assist with funding. The government must be ashamed that a group of unemployed community members offers up so much of their time and lack of finances to do what they are supposed to actually do. So you guys are doing an amazing job. And I think the sad thing is this, is that I have an issue with government also. When they must give money to the right people, they don't give money. Money goes to things that doesn't really benefit our community, instead of it actually, it sets us back. And I mean, a group like you guys also going out to communities to educate people on gender-based violence, bullying. I mean, bullying is quite big. And all that child wants, or mother or father wants, is just somebody to talk to. And that is what you guys are offering. What else, other things are you guys doing?
We are doing, like I said, crime prevention, working with SEFs hand in hand, going out to keep our community safe. That is what we do. If we don't do a missing person, then we will go out and work on the ground with SEFs. That is what we do.
Cool.
And some of our members are pastors.
Okay.
Yeah. Some of our members are neighborhood watch members working in the safety structures.
Okay.
So.
And also you guys are working with other communities, like Sniper is one of your partners.
We're working hand in hand with Sniper. Like I said, he's the one that makes my flyers.
Okay.
And putting it on all the crime groups. I will put it on Facebook. We have a page, Faith and Hope Missing Persons page. And also TikTok, Faith and Hope Missing Persons. So everyone, our phone number is there on. If they need assistance with anything, we are there to assist. Ons is amper soos die polistasie 10-1, because hulle bel vir ons tot in die nag in op. Bel hulle need for SEPs. Ek het al gevra as ons 10-1. Can you phone, they are shooting here, please phone. My kind het huis toe gekom hier, as die kinders nie klap. Sulke goeders. En many times gaan my members way out. Dan gaan hulle die kind nie klappen. Of hulle wherever die kind is, hulle gaan om die kind te gaan soek, which 'n ander ouer te gaan doen vir jou kind. En dis wat ek elke dag sê. Wanneer dit kom by 'n kind, nee, almal, enige ouer, moet die extra maal gaan. Because môre kan dit gebeur met jou kind.
Exactly.
And also when it comes to our SEFs members, they need to go the extra mile when it comes to a missing person. Because sometimes they just say, no, we're not going to take the docket. Gaan kyk eens daar. Of die docket lê daar. 2 dae, 3 dae. Lê dit daar. Dan het ons dit al gekry al. As ons besig, kyk hulle nog eens April en Maart gaan. Yes. So they need, especially when it's a child, go out, please, because it can be your child tomorrow.
Yes. And I think also it's very important for government to realize that they're failing us. They need to put safety measures in place. At the end of the day, we have so many children disappearing, dying. Jocelyn's case, wow. I don't know if we will ever find her. I don't know. Have you any
On Jocelyn's case, Jocelyn went missing the 19th. The 20th, her mother reported her missing. 8, the 20th, we were in Saldanha.
Wow.
We were in Saldanha, working with the shift of Saldanha that work at Saldanha police station. We had a couple of red flags, phoned the detective to come out. She said, no, she's going to come out tomorrow. When a child is missing, you can't come out tomorrow. Yeah. You need to work 24 hours. If we can do it, they can also do it.
They're getting paid for it. They have the resources for it. You guys are doing what you can out of your money, which you don't have. Most of you are unemployed. And I don't think that SEPs understand and government understand the seriousness of having a unit, a search unit, to search for our kids. You know, anything else, ek is so lekker gepraat met jou. En in between het ek siek geraak nou, so ek kan nie hoor. But I wanted to talk to you tonight. Anything else you want to leave a message to our people?
You know, all I can say to our community is that please take note of your children, because your child is my child. Hands off our children. Parents, please interact with your child at home. Interact with their friends. Look where your child is going. If it's 10 minutes, go check if your child is still at the shop. A lot of things is happening on the Cape Flats. Mommy, daddies, julle wat so julle kinders aan die aan en laat buite speel? Nee. 6 o'clock moet julle kinders aan die huis en asseblief. Baie dinge gebeur buite. So mense, asseblief. Ons kinders is ons toekoms. Wees lief vir hulle. Wys vir hulle hoe lief julle is vir hulle. Hands off our children. My child is your child.
I want you guys to follow them. Faith and Hope Missing Persons. Benzi. Benzi. That's how I remember them. I go search for Benzi. They are a known brand to many of you guys that will see the flyers every day. People that's unemployed. Government moet hulle skaam. Mense wat unemployed is. Maak hulle self available to gaan soek vir ons kinders wat missing raak. We government, I don't know, we don't have enough detectives. Or we do have detectives, but they are not really there on the job. So I want you to follow them. And I want people, businesses to sponsor them. Sponsor them with water. Sponsor them with jackets. Sponsor them with money. We need money. Don't say, no, they need money. They need petrol money. They need this and that. So please support them. Veranique, support them on TikTok, right? On Facebook. I want you guys to really to look into this matter. We have a pandemic. Our kids are disappearing every day. Tomorrow morning, I guarantee there will be a flyer out from them. Or tonight even, searching for this person or that person. So they're doing amazing work. It's up to us to support them. It's up to us to help them. Broadcasts like this will get a lot of views and likes and things because you know what? When we speak about the essence, the real things happening in the community, we keep quiet about it. But sê dit nou iemand se maas P, iemand se maas in, dan kry jy 300,000, 400,000 views and likes and shares. We need to shift our focus to what is important. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to us. I got a bit of a cold while sitting here. Ek weet nie wat Benji met musiek gemaak het nie. But yeah, I hope you guys have a blessed evening. Look after your kids. Lock your kids up if you must. Make sure they are protected. Make sure nobody hurts your kids. Because you know what? You will not only destroy your child, but maybe generations of yourself in the future. Good night and God bless.